This is the Nick Hart Show, our weekly chat with Gibson Southern Titan head football coach Nick Hart. It's brought to you by the Gibson Southern Titan football boosters, including ADG Architecture and Design Group, Matt Mickle of AgriGold, Brett's Car Care, Chips Sell My Tees, Cordray Insurance, Cox Family Eye Care, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Harper's Pub and Pizza, Hobb Range Hood Company, Hubstadt Summerfest, Hydorn Construction, Indiana Eye Center, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, JMCO Technologies, Johnson Commercial Mowing, Julia's School of Dance, Kathy Solomon Photography, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Make Your Mark, MyTech Systems, Oakland City Golf Club, Whole Concrete Construction, Pro Rehab, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, 10 Barge Seed, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pests, Titan Youth Football League, Titchener Family Farms, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile Incorporated, and by Ziliak Enterprises. Now, the Nick Hart Show, a special sports production of the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department and 89.1 The Bash.
Welcome to the Nick Hart Show. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me as head coach of the Gibson Southern Titans, Nick Hart. And coach, your Titans are now 4-3 overall and 3-0 in Pocket Athletic Conference play after defeating Calumet on Saturday night, 31-6. So let's take a look at some of the team and individual stats from the win for the Titans. First off, in the rushing category, Calumet had 40 carries for 115 yards. Gibson Southern had 37 carries for 142 yards. Passing-wise, Calumet was 6 for 14 with an interception for 48 yards. Gibson Southern was 19 for 37, one interception for 184 yards. Turnovers played a big role in this ball game. Calumet had 3 of them. They had the one interception and put the ball on the ground twice on Saturday night, while your Titans only had the one interception there in the first half of play. Looking at some of the individual stats now, Brady Allen was 19 for 37, did have the one interception, had 2 touchdown passes for 184 yards total. Owen Bryant had 30 carries. Well, I tell you what, I don't know the last time maybe one of your running backs had 30 carries, but he had 30 carries in this game for 140 yards and a touchdown. And Brady Allen had 6 carries for 2 yards and a touchdown. Sean DeLong had 1 carry for 0 yards. Then in the receiving, 6 different guys caught passes on the evening. Rory Helpsley had 4 receptions for 74 yards and a touchdown. Braden Malone had 8 receptions for 53 yards. Logan Murphin had 3 receptions for 32 yards and a touchdown. Sean DeLong had one catch for 14. Landon Stoll had 2 catches for 12. And Owen Bryant had 1 reception for a -1 yard. So, Coach, looking at your stats there offensively, boy, I tell you, Owen Bryant carried the rock 30 times.
Yeah, they were playing a lot of 2-man against us, which it did empty out the box. And even when we brought a tight end into the game, we got the same look from them. So they were darn and determined to try and take away some of our easy throws and have safeties over the top for when we wanted to go up top. That led to opening up the ground game. I thought Owen did a great job on Saturday along with our offensive line. I thought got the running game going with the outside zone. They had some hog mollies up front.
That's one way of putting it.
some of the inside zone stuff and everything was a little bit of tough sledding for us because, the 48, I thought he was the best defensive lineman we've played against this year, and we've played against some really good ones. He was really, really good. So, when we got into some of the more outside zone stuff, he was playing nose for him most of the time. So that helped, kind of open up the running game.
All right, so let's look at the defensive side. Logan Maurer led the way on the evening. He had 7 solo tackles, 1 assist, had a fumble recovery, and a pass broken up. Carter Green had 5 solo, 8 assists, and a tackle for loss. Noah Bryant had 5 solo, 3 assists, and a tackle for loss. Drew Foster had 5 solo and 2 assists. Tanner Moskos, one of those linemen in there on some tackles here, 4 solo, 3 assists, and a tackle for loss. But how about the stat sheet fill out for Ben Luttrell? He had 4 solo, 1 assist, 2 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and a sack. I'm tired just from saying all of them.
Yeah, a lot of it happened on one play there. He got a sack, forced the fumble, and then recovered it. But I thought Tanner, really stood out to me, especially after the first couple drives. Like you mentioned his stats, and he had a good game. He caused so many other plays as well there on the interior. I thought he played great, and when he really got going there after the first couple drives, really helped our defense out and got our defense going.
Well, and one other stat that I want to make sure we throw in here, because it was huge, right there at the end of the first half, Peyton Rogers getting that interception. That was huge at the 1.5-yard line. Yeah,
it was a huge play right before the half. Great coverage by him, and then going up and making the play. I thought our defensive backs all played really well. They had some great athleticism in their receiving core, and I thought we did a great job with coverage the entire night.
All right, so, Coach, let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll get your overall thoughts from Game 7 concerning the offense, defense, and special teams. But right now, we need to thank the folks that make the Nick Hart Show possible on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is presented by the Gibson Southern Titan football boosters, including Matt Mickle of Agrigold, Brett's Car Care, Chips, Sell My Tees, Cordray Insurance, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Harper's Pub and Pizza, Hobb Range Hood Company, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hydorn Construction, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, JMCO Technologies, and by Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated.
Do you know what it takes to be a warrior? You have to be hardworking. Make sure you're giving your best every day.
You have to lead, guide others to the path of success.
You have to be brave, be able to stand up for what you believe in.
At Wabash Valley College, we're able to bring the best out of you, even if you don't have these skills. It's time to be a warrior. I'm a warrior.
I am a warrior.
I am a warrior.
I'm a warrior. Are you? Call Wabash Valley at 618-262-8641.
Thank you for listening to 89.1 The Bash and the Nick Hart Show. So, Coach, when we're starting to look at the offense, and we're going to talk about this in the offense and defense and the special teams, but this ball game materialized within a 24-hour period. To my knowledge, on Thursday is when you got the news that you were going to play a game Saturday night. So basically you had Thursday night and Friday at practice, and then it's time to get on the bus to go 2 hours and 45 minutes up to Brownsburg and play a team that hasn't even played a game this year, let alone you don't have any film on them from this year. You really don't know anything about their personnel, hardly anything at all. So offensively, I think you guys were fine with that because you do what you do offensively. So let's talk a little bit about your offense here. What was your overall feelings? Because the key to the game, in my opinion, first quarter, not very consistent. But the second quarter on, the consistency got there, and that checked off the key that I brought up in the pregame on Saturday night.
Yeah, offensively, it took us a little while to get in the rhythm. And again, we had some film on them from last year, and they played us completely differently than they've played anybody else. So it kind of took us a little bit, I think, to kind of get in our groove. And they're very good defensively, and so I think that's tough. You're playing a team that lost in the sectional final in 3A last year in overtime, they're doing different stuff. You don't really know what they're doing. You don't know their personnel, and so it took us a little bit to get rolling. I think offensively we were really, really good. I think the concerning thing from Saturday, or the disappointing thing, I don't know if it's concerning because it hasn't been a huge problem as of late, but we had 2 empty trips into the red zone in the first half. And then another trip, which I know you love field goals, and Ryan did a great job, and we'll talk about that in the special teams. But so, you have 3 trips in the red zone where you don't score a touchdown. We got to get better there. If we get some scores in the red zone in the first half, the game's a lot more stretched out score-wise at halftime, and you're in a little bit more control. So, I thought that was really the only downside to the offense on Saturday was, missing out on red zone opportunities.
Well, and I would agree with you. Those first 2 trips in the first half really kind of set a morbid kind of a tone in that first half offensively. Now, that last one where you got the 33-yard field goal out of Ryan Ziliak, it was a case where, you know what, let's get some points on the board, stretch it out a little bit. And Coach, I'm rooting for touchdowns every time, but at the same time, I also know that over the years of broadcasting your ball club, it's really come down in sectional play. You needed that field goal. And I tell you, I've got a lot of faith right now in Ryan Ziliak. He's doing a great job of kicking for you.
Great job. And it was a huge kick at the time. It's 14-6, and that stretched it out to a 2-score game. So, it was huge. It was great to see anyway, but it was huge at the time to make it a 2-score game and really help stretch out the lead.
Well, let's go over now to the defensive side, because here is where the lack of preparation really puts a burden on your coaching staff. It puts a burden on the players because, it's a matter you really have no idea what to expect from them offensively other than, as you mentioned, you did see some film from last year, but you know as well as I do that sometimes teams change things up formational or even philosophy-wise for the in between football seasons. But it was going to be a matter of making adjustments. First drive, they take it down, they score. But the adjustments, you could see them start to be made in that second drive on. And in all reality, they didn't score again. I mean, they scored 6 points on the first drive, and your defense shut them out the rest of the way.
Yeah, I thought our defense was great. That first drive, obviously, we weren't very prepared, and for good reason. But the thing I didn't like is I didn't think we were very physical on that first drive, and that comes with thinking and trying to get lined up and all those type of things. And I realized that, but you got to be physical no matter what. And so. They weren't doing anything exotic. Sure, we weren't ready for it, but it wasn't anything exotic that we haven't seen before. So, the first drive was not very good at all. But after that, a great job. They have a lot of weapons. And they're pretty solid up front. I thought our defense after that did a whale of a job. And we're going to talk about special teams in a minute, but, they had some short fields to work with their kickoff returns and stuff. So I thought it was an excellent job by our defense. We've really made some strides on that side of the ball in the last couple of weeks and have to continue making strides to get ready for the playoffs here. But I thought it was an excellent performance by our defense on Saturday.
Well, and before we get to special teams, though, Coach, just talk about a little bit how, as a coaching staff, do you guys come together and put forth any sort of game plan in 24 hours? I mean, basically, you're looking. The only thing that I have even close to that is back in my younger days as an assistant coach here in Illinois. We used to have week 9 on Friday night, and then you would turn around and on Wednesday, that was playoff game number 1. Still, that's 4 days in between games. So what kind of stress did that put on your coaching staff, just trying to get ready to go and play a game at your highest capabilities?
Well, the best I could compare it to is, because not only was it short notice, but, they haven't played a game. And so you always go into week 1 kind of, trying to figure stuff out. But at this point in the year, you usually have a pretty good idea about what you're going to see. So it took, we just kind of went in and we prepared the best we could with last year's film. But we knew going in that we were just going to have to adjust on the fly. I thought our coaches and kids did a great job of adjusting on the fly on both sides of the ball. But it was almost like, coaching a freshman or a JV game against somebody that's not on your schedule. You just got to show up and, you figure it out as you go and you make your adjustments. And, again, I thought our coaches and kids did an excellent job of that on Friday.
So let's look at the special team side of things right now. Obviously, the field goal was a positive, making it. That's a positive. You really didn't have much on the punt return side of things for your ball club, because I think with being their first game, their first 3 punts, and maybe that changes the game a little bit there in that first half even. I don't think they'll make that mistake again by having the personnel out there that they did, but they're going into their first game. They don't know what to expect.
Right.
So, but really overall, I think your special teams hung in there and did a fine job, especially the last couple of kickoffs. The last couple of kickoffs, your kickoff team come to play and kept them inside the 35-yard line. Yeah,
and they had those guys back there could float. It was they could really float, and but we did have some breakdowns with lane assignment. We had Ryan had a beautiful pooch kick in the first half, and our outside contain guy got inside, and they popped the pooch kick outside on us. So some of that stuff we've got to fix and get better at with our kickoff team. Obviously he was great on the extra points and the field goal. I thought our Logan, that second punt he hit was beautiful. It ended up being 52, but it rolled out the back. I mean, it would have been a lot longer if we wouldn't have been in midfield. And we did a great job. They brought some heat on it. We did a great job of protecting him to get the kickoff. And then, with our punt block team, and I know they had some issues. The first one we were playing safe, and he just missed it. The second one, we made a pretty good dent on our left side, their right side. And he kind of kicked away from the pressure, and that caused, the bad kick. So, there was a great job by them of applying some pressure and getting him to turn away from it on the kick and forcing not a very good punt. So, overall, I thought special teams was pretty good. We just got to, do a better job with our kickoff team and how we're covering those.
Well, and I want to make sure we mention Logan Murphin on that second punt, as you had talked about. That was a thing of beauty right there. Had a perfect spiral. Oh my! I think it landed at the 6. So to get in the end zone, it only rolled 6 yards. But if that was deeper, shoot, he might have had a 70+ yard punt right there.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, and he does a great job with punting, and that was obviously his best one of the year. But hopefully we can start hitting ones like that more consistently and flipping the field when we have to punt.
All right, well, Coach, we need to thank some of the supporters of the Nick Hart Show. And when we come back, we'll take a look around the Pocket Athletic Conference to wrap up Week 7 and get prepared for Week 8. As you are listening to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1, The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is presented by the Gibson Southern Titan football boosters, including Kissel Farms Incorporated, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, High-Tech Systems, Whole Concrete Construction, Pro Rehab, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, 10 Barge Seed, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pests, Titan Youth Football League, Kitchener Family Farms, and by Ziliak Enterprises. If you've ever considered a career in broadcasting or digital media, now is the time to be a warrior. Enroll at Wabash Valley College. Our TV channel was named the nation's best in 2020, and you already know 89.1 The Bash is the best alternative rock station in the region. We offer more real-world hands-on experience while working with the latest equipment and technology. Our graduates are getting jobs or moving on to four-year universities. It's time to be a warrior. Call 618-262-8641 today.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me as head coach of the Titans, Nick Hart. So, Coach, let's talk Pocket Athletic Conference. And darn, if this wasn't the roughest week probably so far of the season for the PAC, as not so many teams were able to play. But looking at some scores from Friday night, Forest Park defeated Springs Valley 41-26. So another victory for the Forest Park Rangers.
Yeah, good win for them, and they're doing a great job and really have it rolling over there.
And then Heritage Hills, they come out with a victory in conference play as they defeated Washington 38-8.
Yep, I think they're starting to get some guys back, and they're a team that maybe has not had a year that they normally won, but they've had guys out throughout the year, and they're young. They're going to be a really, really tough out, whenever the playoffs come around.
Well, and then Southridge just keeps being Southridge. They defeated South Spencer 48-3.
Yeah, we obviously know a very good football team and continue to roll.
And then Tell City defeated Princeton 45-0. This Tell City ball club, they must be really the real deal.
Yeah, they are. We'll obviously talk more about Princeton, but Princeton was really hanging with them early, and Tell City got some turnovers, a defensive touchdown, and some short fields, and it really kind of turned that game and got it rolling in Tell City's favor.
Well, and then the only other game in the PAC was on Saturday night with your ball club up at Brownsburg, and I tell you what, I would assume that your dad had something to do with this, being the head coach there, but I remember watching that game. You and I had talked about it on the post-game show, that how you needed to get home and go watch that game against Cincinnati Xavier. So I'm watching it here on ESPN. Didn't have a clue that I'd ever be in that state. My word, I had to take an elevator to get to where I was. That was awesome. So, we need to thank Brownsburg, obviously, give them a public vote of thanks for allowing this game to happen at their fantastic facility.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who think, our administration, especially John Adams, and Calumet, obviously they contacted us. We didn't know they were open. We were looking for games in-state, out-of-state, anywhere to try and get our kids a game. Calumet called, and so thanks to them and their administration. But John Adams, our athletic director, really took the lead on this and got everything set up from officials. And I don't think, most people probably understand all the moving parts, not only to play a game on short notice, but at a neutral site. So, chain gang, referees, PA announcers, scorekeepers, all those things that go into it. He was awesome about getting all that done to make sure our kids could play. And then obviously, Brownsburg for hosting it, very, very much appreciated.
And, of course, you won the ball game on Saturday night, 31-6. So that made the 2-hour and 45-minute trip back down to southwestern Indiana much more enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I know it did for me. But
yeah.
So looking at the small school division, Southridge leads the way. They're 4-0 in conference, 7-0 overall. Tell City is 2-1 in conference, 6-1 overall. Forest Park is 1-1, 5-2 overall. North Posey is 1-2 in the conference, 3-3 overall. South Spencer is 1-3, 1-6 overall. And Pike Central is 0-2 in conference play, 0-5 overall. Now, looking at the big school division, your Gibson Southern Titans are on top with a 3-0 conference record and 4-3 overall. Boonville is 3-1, 4-2 overall. Mount Vernon is 2-1 in conference play, 4-2 overall. Heritage Hills is 1-3, 3-4 overall. Washington is 1-3 and 3-4 overall. Princeton is 0-2, 2-5 overall. But, Coach, here's the big question I got for you. We're down to 2 weeks left of the regular season. What's going to happen in this big school division? Do you see the opportunity materializing to be able to take on Mount Vernon to claim outright the conference title?
I don't know. I think it hasn't been across my desk, if that's in the works. I think there's a lot of moving parts to that. We're supposed to play Boonville. Mount Vernon's supposed to play Washington. That's a big school division game as well. I don't know, how you get all those moving parts to go together to make it work. Boonville and Princeton were supposed to play on Friday, and they didn't. It's going to come down, I think, unless something changes I don't know about. It would be a win percentage type of deal that the conference champion would be decided by.
Okay. So right there, let's wrap up our trip around the Pocket Athletic Conference. And that means we got one more segment to go, Coach, which means it's time to get the listeners ready for Friday night as your team prepares to host county rival Princeton. But first, let's thank some of the underwriters of the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is presented by the Gibson Southern Titan Football Boosters, including Vogler Metalwork and Design Incorporated, ADG Architecture and Design Group, Cox Family Eye Care, Indiana Eye Center, Johnson Commercial Mowing, Julia's School of Dance, Kathy Solman Photography, Make Your Mark, Oakland City Golf Club, United Fidelity Bank, and by Vertical Tile Incorporated.
Hey high school seniors.
Who are you?
I'm a Wabash Valley Warrior. Are you still trying to decide on where you want to go to college?
Maybe, maybe not.
Well, Wabash Valley is the place to go.
I'm listening.
We are among the most affordable colleges in the region, which puts more money in your pockets.
We all want money.
We offer all sorts of different degree opportunities, such as nursing, broadcasting, early childhood education, diesel mechanics, and much more.
This sounds too good to pass up.
Call and set up an appointment today at 618-262-8641.
I'd be stupid not to do it, right?
WVC?
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show right here on 89.1 The Bash, or you may be using the free app to access the show on your cell phone. So, Coach, it's week 8. Your Titans will host the Princeton Tigers at Jack Jewell Field for a 7 p.m. ball game. And we'll have all the action live on 89.1 The Bash with pregame at 6:45 p.m. The Tigers will enter the contest 2-5 overall, 0-2 in conference play. What do you expect to see from them on the offensive side of the football?
They're a spread team, shotgun, but a little bit different than us. They play with an inline tight end all the time. That's a little different in this spread age. A lot of teams are using the tight end as like a wing back. So that inline tight end, it creates some issues for you where there's an extra gap now, that you have to be make sure that you have covered. So it's all tight end, 3 wide receivers. They'll run some double tight stuff out of the gun. The Hardeman kid outside is a really, really good football player, and he makes a lot of plays for him. So you always got to know where he's at. You got a freshman quarterback. He does a good job of spitting the ball out. You got to be ready to play, and it's a little bit different than what we've seen with the spread with the inline tight end. It might not seem like a lot with that not being a wing, but it really changes things in how you have to approach it and attack it. So I think the key, again, we talk about this every week. And you saw it on Saturday. When we're physical at the point of attack, we got a chance to be pretty good on defense. When we're not, we're not. So that's a big thing for us. And then making sure we don't let Hardeman kid get loose with some of his stuff in the passing game.
All right, so let's go over now to what do you expect to see defensively from Princeton to try and throw off the rhythm and consistency of your offensive unit?
Well, I think what you said there is we're kind of finding as we go through the year here, we're seeing a lot of not different defenses, but a different style or attack than what we're seeing on film. So, against spread teams, they played us in a 3-4 last year. They did that to somebody else that ran the spread this year. So it's kind of what we expect to see is like a 3-4 and dropping 8, and playing quarters behind it is what they've shown, but and what they did to us last year. But, as you know, things can change and, people try and attack you different ways and personnel changes from year to year for you and for them. That's what we'll prepare for this week. But then, you got to be ready to adjust on the fly if you see something different on Friday.
All right. So what do you see from them special teams-wise in the kicking game?
They do a great job, and the Hardeman kid, is back there. And obviously we had some trouble, with our kick coverage and athletic kid, fast kids this past weekend. So, we got to make sure that we have lane integrity on our kickoff team and our guys that are contained guys are containing because they'll make you pay if you don't. So, that's a big point of emphasis for us this week to make sure that we're covering kicks correctly.
Now, does Princeton have a kicker?
Yeah. He's done a good job. I think they've made all or most of their extra points. So they've done. He got one blocked, I know, but he does a good job with what he does.
All right. So, Coach, we're running out of time for today's show. So, is there anything else for this week's show that you would like to add?
We're really excited. We kind of talked about the conference and the mess because not everybody's going to play everybody. But, however things work out, if things don't get rescheduled, we can claim the outright championship this week, because we're the only undefeated team left in the conference. If things were to get shuffled, it's at least a share. However it works out, you can win a conference championship on Friday night. And then, the sectional draw is this coming Thursday night. That's always an exciting night to kind of find out, where you're going, and then you got to get your focus back on the week at hand. But, a big week for us, not only with the, conference championship, but the sectional draw as well.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll see you Friday night on the post-game show after the game's over. And best of luck to the players this week as they take on their county rival, the Princeton Tigers. We would like to thank all of you for joining us here on 89.1 The Bash for the Nick Hart Show. And be sure to catch us each week at 7 p.m. on Tuesday night for your look inside Gibson Southern Titans football. Before we sign off, though, we would like to thank all of the supporters of the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show has been a special presentation of the Gibson Southern Titan football boosters, including Ziliak Enterprises, Vertical Tile Incorporated, United Fidelity Bank, Kitchener Family Farms, Titan Youth Football League, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, 10 Barge Seed, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Sandy's Pizza, Oakland City Golf Club, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Pro Rehab, Whole Concrete Construction, MyTech Systems, Make Your Mark, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, Kathy Salmon Photography, Julia's School of Dance, Johnson Commercial Mowing, JMCO Technologies, Indiana Eye Center, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Hydorn Construction, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobb Range Hood Company, Harper's Pub and Pizza, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Foster Construction, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Davis Brothers, Daylight Land Management, Cox Family Eye Care, Cordray Insurance, Chips Sell My Tees, Brett's Car Care, Matt Mickle of AgriGold, and by ADG Architecture and Design Group. The Nick Hart Show is a special production of the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department and 89.1 The Bash.